right, so we tried to install a steering wheel a couple days ago. We failed miserably because we were missing a few pieces. So what I'll do is I'll walk you through what we were missing so that way you don't make the same mistake. And I will also show you how we took everything apart. So first things first. So here's the steering wheel, right, that we're using. And if you notice the bolt pattern on it, and then you look at the bolt pattern on the NRG, which by the way, here's the NRG that we're using. Now, trying to take the hub off of the steering wheel completely destroyed the cheap kind of eBay special steering wheel. So that's why you don't buy eBay steering wheels, because they're just not strong enough in this area really to work with. But anyways, so the bolt pattern that's on our hub did not match the bolt pattern on our steering wheel. So we had to go out and buy an NRG spacer, which has the has like a universal bolt pattern on it, so it fits all bolt patterns. So now that we have this spacer, we can put the spacer onto the hub, put the steering wheel onto the spacer, and it will fit. A few things that I also want to show to you are the difference between, you know, a good hub and a cheap hub. So, you know, here's the hub that was on there, and this one is a Kayo Star, and then this one is the NRG hub, which is still, you know, not the top of the line hub, but it's a little bit better. But what you could see is, you can see that these notches don't necessarily line up, right? And so what those notches do is they actually turn the blinkers off, and with this hub, it wasn't engaging the turn signal, so the turn signals weren't turning off. So what you can do just to verify if it's going to work or not, take a look at your clock. Is your clock spring? And I didn't show this being taken off because we didn't actually remove this. The previous owner had it in a box of stuff that he gave to us. But if you match them up with the NRG, you can see they line up much better. But if you try to match them up with the Kayo Star, the cheaper one, they're off. You know, probably by just a couple millimeters, but that's enough to keep the turn signals from not turning on. So hopefully we won't have that problem with the NRG. We'll see. But what I did was, in order to get a closer look at, you know, what's going on inside the steering column, I removed the entire steering column surround. So the first thing that I did was I removed this piece, which goes up underneath your steering wheel. It's 4 bolts. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Remove this piece, and then I removed the steering column cover, which also has 4 screws. Take a quick look at it. Here's the top portion, and here's the bottom portion. So, I'm sorry, 6 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you remove those 6 screws, and then you'll be left with what we got over here. You want to bring them over here, Jonah? That clock spring will actually be screwed into this piece right here. You just one thing that I also did find out was, in order for the horn to work, so the old horn was just this thing that had previous owner put a big hole in it. Not sure why. But I did see that, you know, there was nothing actually hooked up for the horn. And that's because if you have a 300Z that has an airbag, the horn actually goes through the clock spring and then through the airbag. On models that don't have an airbag, there's actually a little spring right here that carries your ground wire that engages the back of the hub on the OEM steering wheel. So that way when you push the button, it gets grounded out. We don't have that here, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make one, and I'll walk you through that process. All you need is like a spring from a ballpoint pen, and you just need to run a wire right here with a screw. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that that screw engages the back of the hub, right? And so if you look at the back of the hub, that's why there's that big metal piece with a little bit of grease on there, because that spring will then engage there. And then you take these 2 wires and stick them on the button, and then whenever you put the button on there, it beeps. So I'll walk you through that process. to put a resistor in there. However, I didn't have any luck with either resistor, so I don't know which resistor we need to put in there. I think that from what it looks like online, that our ABS module might be bad, so it doesn't, you know, we have a solid ABS light, not a blinking ABS light, and so maybe we got to take another look at what's going on with our ABS system. But I'm sorry, not ABS, airbag. So pretty much giving up on that. I'll have to take another look at that later. For the horn, for those of you who had an airbag, there's a yellow plug down here. All you're going to need to do is run a black wire from the very bottom plug. And I don't know, Jonah, if you could show them this. It's right here. Can you see that where the wire is? Yeah. You see right there where the wire is. So it's going to go in that very bottom plug. I'll give you a view from this end. Right there. So it's going to go in that very bottom hole. And then all we did was put a wire, and then we attached it to a little spring from a ballpoint pen. And we'll let you know how good that works.
The install on the steering wheel. Right now we have the wrong hub in. It's meant for a car that has no airbags from stock, but this one does. So what the problem is when you take a turn, the turn signal won't turn back off. And we're gonna install it. We're gonna give you a step-by-step process on how to install it and what parts you need to buy to do the install. Alright, so now I'm gonna show you the new parts that we got. This is the old setup we had. We used this NRG hub with this adapter that came with it. It didn't come with it. We ordered it separately. Here's our new hub. Really high quality. It came with all the parts you need. This just basically cuts the airbag light off. It came with a new steering wheel bolt and washer. It's from
HKB Sports.
HKB Sports.
I think.
It's a Japanese company. I think. It's really light, I guess.
And this is the same one that we're running on the RX-7.
Yeah. Since
it comes from Japan, it takes a little bit longer to get.
But it's worth it. Okay. What now? Oh. We got this new light thing for the keyhole. Basically, when we took the old one apart, we noticed it was crusty and disgusting and yellow. So we get a new one. It's, you know, cleanness. Cleanness counts.
Okay, so we installed the clock, right? And then we looked at all the wire harnesses that came with our hub adapter. Now there's a bunch of them here and the instructions are in Japanese, so it's kind of difficult, but we did see that if it says if you have SRS, that this is where you put your resistor and your fuse in here, so that way it should trick the ECU into thinking that you still have ABS and not turn on, I'm sorry, not ABS, airbag, and it should keep your airbag light off. So we'll see if that works. And then for the horn button, we couldn't seem to find anything that would work. None of these plugs matched up. So what I did was I just took the one plug that they gave with the kit and I broke the pin out of the plug. And so what I'm simply gonna do is just plug the pin into the female plug that I know that is for the horn. And then we're gonna connect this to our horn button so it works. It'll work just like that. It'll be awesome. So you plug this into the horn that goes into the steering wheel, and then when you push that button, it grounds it, you know, causing that same effect. So I'll put a little bit of tape around that so it's insulated, and I'm pretty sure that'll work good. The new steering wheel installed. It looks great. Before there was a gap, and now that gap is gone. It's all filled in. The turn signals work now, so when you turn left and then you steer left, you turn back to the right, it clicks it off, so that's great. And the horn also works, so we're happy with it. I'll make sure I put the part numbers that I used for that steering hub as well as the brand, so you make sure you get the right stuff. And the old stuff we want to give to one of you guys. So if there's somebody out there with a Nissan 300ZX that does not have an airbag, so that I believe that'd be the 1991 that came with no airbag, reach out to me. What you can do is if you get someone to subscribe and then you comment in the comment section, tell me who it was that you got to subscribe, then I'll reach out to you for your address and I'll send this to you in the mail free of charge. So this is a NRG short steering hub with an adapter, so you should be able to run any type of steering wheel that you want to run on it. I got to get my subscriber count up. All right, so for details on the motor, so we picked up a motor. I haven't really shown you much of that, but I'll insert a few photos of that here. Picked up a turbo motor. We stripped it down. It's in the process of rebuilding. And so real quick, I'll show you some of the goodies that we got. The block is actually at a machine shop. They're doing some work to it for us. And I'm gonna send them some of this stuff that we got. So let me show this to you real quick. All right, just to give you a sneak peek real quick of some of the stuff that we got. Here's our connecting rods. So with this motor, we're gonna be doing a full rebuild. Here's our pistons. Actually kind of nervous. This is gonna be my first time rebuilding a piston engine. Never done it before. So this should be pretty interesting. So we got some nice pistons. All the stuff we ordered from
Z1
Motorsports. So JWT, I think is what, Wiseco pistons is what they are. They look pretty cool. And then we got the Eagle connecting rods that go with it. I know they're forged and lightweight. They look pretty good. So just a real quick sneak peek at part of our build. We'll show you more as time goes on.